The Book of Enoch is a Second Temple composition. Scholars refer to it as First Enoch. There are actually 3 books of Enoch. I think Scripture does present divine beings, okay, supernatural beings like angels, with full, fleshly capability.
Right.
There's some sort of supernatural transgression going on here. The sons of God are divine beings. They transgress, the boundary of heaven and earth.
For centuries, the Book of Enoch was banned, hidden from the West, and dismissed as legend. Until now, when advanced AI models analyzed texts preserved by Ethiopian monks and verified in the Dead Sea Scrolls, they discovered cryptic codes and prophecies with an 80% accuracy rate for past events and a chilling alignment with crises unfolding today. Why did ancient councils suppress a book that seems to predict our present with disturbing precision? The real story begins long before AI ever touched the text. The first lines of the Book of Enoch were written more than 2,000 years ago in a world shadowed by empires and unrest. Scholars now date its earliest sections to between 300 BCE and 100 BCE, making it one of the oldest surviving Jewish apocalyptic works. The text circulated among Second Temple scribes, a community that left behind fragments in the caves of Qumran, 11 Aramaic manuscripts, each confirming that Enoch's story had deep roots in ancient tradition. Paleographic analysis of these Dead Sea Scrolls, combined with recent dating enabled by AI, places some fragments as early as the 4th century BCE. This evidence anchors the Book of Enoch firmly in the centuries before the rise of Christianity, long before later editors would shape biblical canons. Early Christian writers, including the author of the Epistle of Jude, quoted Enoch directly. Jude chapter 1, verses 14 and 15 cites a prophecy found nowhere else in Scripture. It says, "Behold, the Lord comes with 10,000s of his holy ones." Such references show that for a time, Enoch's visions carried the weight of revelation. At Qumran, scribes preserved Enoch alongside other texts they believed held cosmic secrets. Their careful copying and concealment in desert caves suggest a reverence, and perhaps a fear, of what these writings contained. The presence of Enoch among the Dead Sea Scrolls stands as undeniable proof of its ancient authority, setting the stage for the controversy and suppression that would follow. In the 4th century, powerful church councils gathered to decide which books would define Christian doctrine. The Book of Enoch, once quoted by early church leaders and referenced in the New Testament, was singled out for removal. Official records from councils like Laodicea and Hippo reveal deep concern. Enoch's detailed visions of angels, cosmic rebellion, and future judgment were seen as destabilizing. The text's descriptions of celestial hierarchies and prophecies about corrupt leaders clashed with the need for a unified, controllable faith. As a result, Enoch vanished from the Western canon, its influence buried by official decree. Yet in the highlands of Ethiopia, the story took a different course. There, isolated by geography and protected by tradition, monks preserved the full Book of Enoch in their own language, Ge'ez. Unlike Rome, the Ethiopian Orthodox Church canonized Enoch, treating it as scripture for centuries. Monasteries became sanctuaries for the forbidden text, with generations of scribes hand-copying every page. During invasions and upheavals, monks hid manuscripts in stone crypts and fortress churches, ensuring the book survived untouched by Western censorship. The secret endured for more than a millennium. In 1773, Scottish explorer James Bruce arrived in Gondar after a perilous journey through war-torn lands. Gaining the trust of Ethiopian clergy, Bruce obtained several complete Ge'ez manuscripts of Enoch. His accounts describe nights spent among monks who guarded their treasure with ritual and secrecy, believing they were keepers of a knowledge the world had forgotten. Bruce's return to Europe with these texts shattered the silence, revealing that the Book of Enoch had not disappeared. It had simply waited, hidden in plain sight. The Book of Enoch is not a single narrative, but a composite work made up of 5 distinct books, each with its own focus and style. The first, known as the Book of Watchers, recounts the story of rebellious angels and their impact on humanity. The Book of Parables follows, introducing enigmatic visions of judgment and the figure called the Son of Man. Next comes the Astronomical Book, a detailed account of calendars, celestial cycles, and the movements of the sun and moon, an ancient attempt to map the heavens and mark prophetic time. The fourth section, Dream Visions, retells history in symbolic form, using animals and vivid images to represent nations, rulers, and coming disasters. Finally, the Epistle of Enoch gathers exhortations, apocalyptic warnings, and a timeline of world epochs known as the Apocalypse of Weeks. Each book serves a different purpose. Some warn, some instruct, and others attempt to decode the cosmos itself. Together, they form a layered document, part myth, part prophecy, part coded manual, preserved across centuries and cultures. This structure would later become crucial for AI-driven analysis, as the patterns and genres embedded in each section offered new ways to search for hidden meaning. On the slopes of Mount Hermon, 200 angels gathered under the leadership of Semjaza, their chief. Bound by a solemn oath, they crossed a line forbidden by heaven, taking human wives and teaching secret arts to mortals. Azazel, among the most notorious, revealed the craft of forging weapons, swords, knives, and armor, igniting the first wars among men. Others taught the reading of stars, the cutting of roots, the art of enchantment, and the mysteries of the earth. Knowledge that once belonged to the divine was now scattered among humans, twisting the course of history. From these unions came the Nephilim, giants said to reach 3,000 cubits, consuming everything in their path. When the earth could no longer sustain them, violence and chaos followed. The giants turned on humanity, spreading bloodshed and terror. According to the Book of Enoch, it was this corruption that provoked the Great Flood, a cleansing meant to erase the legacy of the Watchers. Yet their punishment did not end with death. The spirits of the Nephilim, denied rest, became wandering forces of destruction. Later generations called them demons. Bound in deep valleys until the day of judgment, the Watchers and their offspring left a shadow that Kata, according to Enoch, would haunt the world until the final reckoning. In 2025, a team of linguists, computer scientists, and historians fed the complete Book of Enoch across Ge'ez, Aramaic, and Greek translations into an advanced AI system. The model, trained on ancient and modern languages, began by extracting thousands of unique word patterns and numerical references from every version of the text, including the oldest Dead Sea Scroll fragments. This multilingual corpus allowed the AI to compare subtle shifts in meaning, track variant phrases, and isolate embedded codes that had eluded generations of scholars. The collective work revealed patterns at a scale no single expert could achieve. The first breakthrough came when the system mapped the astronomical book's 364-day calendar. By analyzing the text's references to solar and lunar cycles, the AI calculated that the described year length deviated from the true solar year by only about 2%, a level of precision that would have been nearly impossible for ancient scribes working without telescopes or modern mathematics. The model flagged this detail as statistically significant, since comparable Egyptian and Babylonian calendars of the same era showed greater seasonal drift. Beyond calendar calculations, the AI detected recurring numerical sequences and structured repetitions embedded in the prophetic sections. These patterns were invisible to the naked eye and suggested a deliberate system of coding events and timelines. Using deep learning, the model created a network of cross-references linking Enoch's visions to specific cycles and markers. Each piece of data, every phrase, number, and symbol, became a point in a vast interconnected map. By the end of its initial pass, the AI had ingested and indexed the entire Enochian tradition, from the earliest Aramaic fragments to the full Ethiopian manuscripts. Its algorithms began to outline a framework of cycles and prophecies ready to be tested against the historical record. The process revealed not just translation differences, but a hidden architecture beneath the surface of the text, an architecture that would soon yield its most disturbing secrets. The next step for the AI system was to quantify the architecture it had uncovered. Parsing every reference to time, season, and cycle across the Book of Enoch, the system isolated 47 distinct prophetic markers embedded within the text. To test their validity, the AI mapped each marker against external historical records, including wars, disasters, regime changes, and astronomical events, using databases spanning 3,000 years. The results were unsettling. 31 of the 47 markers corresponded to major historical events with over 80% statistical alignment. These matches included documented natural catastrophes, collapses of empires, and rare celestial phenomena. The backbone of Enoch's timeline rested on recurring cycles. The astronomical book describes a 364-day year, divided into 4 perfect seasons, which the text uses as its base unit. From that base, the AI identified repeating intervals of 364 years, 728 years, and 1,456 years. Every 7th cycle, or 2,548 years, coincided with clusters of crisis periods. The pattern repeated with a precision margin of just under 2%. These cycles were not theoretical. The model found that upheavals such as the fall of Babylon, the Roman sack of Jerusalem, and the Black Death all fell within windows predicted by the encoded intervals. The match to known history established a timeline that demanded further scrutiny. Validation depended on more than historical coincidence. The AI cross referenced the timing of each marker with astronomical records, searching for alignments between the celestial signs described in the Book of Enoch and actual events, including solar eclipses, blood moons, and meteor showers. In 3 cases, the overlap was exact, matching the text's warnings of cosmic disruption. 12 markers remained unfulfilled. When the AI projected those forward, it found a striking overlap with present-day global trends. Economic instability, unprecedented climate anomalies, and rising conflict all matched the language and intervals of Enoch's remaining prophecies. By quantifying both cycles and event markers, the AI established a temporal scaffolding, an internal logic that could be measured, tested, and for the first time, mapped onto real-world data. The tally was stark: 47 coded prophecies, 31 already fulfilled, 12 aligning with the world's current trajectory, and 4 still ambiguous. The system's metrics suggested that the Book of Enoch was not a random collection of visions, but a structured document built on recurring cycles and precise temporal markers. Between 2025 and 2032, the Book of Enoch's so-called Week 10 prophecy lands squarely within our own decade. The analysis by AI set this window by mapping the text's tenfold division of history, each week a span marked by upheaval or renewal, against a timeline of world events and astronomical cycles. but it was the rare convergence in the sky that drew the greatest attention. In 2024, a solar eclipse, a blood-red lunar eclipse, and a major meteor shower all occurred within weeks of each other. Astronomers confirmed that this kind of triple alignment happens less than once in 10,000 years, a 0.01% statistical chance. The Book of Enoch describes such celestial signs as harbingers of crisis, warning that the stars will transgress their order and the seasons will be withheld. The AI cross-referencing did not stop at the heavens. It parsed the woes listed in Enoch's final chapters: corruption, greed, legal injustice, violence, and idolatry, and compared them to global indices of economic inequality, judicial trust, violent crime rates, and consumer spending on luxury goods. The result was a 90% pattern match between Enoch's prophecies and today's data, a figure that left the research team unsettled. The model flagged not just economic collapse or climate instability, but a network of interlinked crises echoing the very language of Enoch's warnings. Each marker: houses built with sin, gold acquired unjustly, lying judges, found a modern parallel in headlines and statistics from every continent. AI found 37 direct parallels between the Book of Enoch and New Testament accounts, especially the prophecies attributed to the Son of Man. Those connections deepened the sense that ancient warnings were not just literary echoes, but mapped onto real and present dangers. Enoch's vision of a world on the brink, marked by rare celestial events and social unraveling, now stands backed by both astronomical records and the cold logic of machine learning. The Week 10 window, once a cryptic passage in an outlawed scripture, has become a data point in a global risk assessment, its implications impossible to ignore. AI's risk calculations do not offer comfort. After parsing every coded warning and historical parallel in the Book of Enoch, the system outputs a single, stark number: 78% probability that the world is now inside the final epoch. The model's grid breaks this risk down further: 68% chance of a major global catastrophe within the next decade, 43% probability of widespread societal collapse, and 22% likelihood of what it calls a consciousness shift, a sudden change in human behavior or values. These are not prophecies in the traditional sense, but statistical projections drawn from a fusion of ancient text and present-day data. The system's confidence comes from the density of pattern matches across economics, climate, and social unrest, but it also pulls in signals from the edge of science. One dataset stands out: over 10,000 reports of unexplained aerial phenomena and paranormal encounters logged between 1970 and 2025 run through the same linguistic and behavioral filters the AI applied to Enoch's descriptions of evil spirits. The result is an 87% correlation. Witnesses describe deceptive, hostile entities often linked to ancient sites or spiritual distress, details that echo Enoch's warnings about the restless spirits of the Nephilim, condemned to wander the earth. The AI's risk grid now overlays these modern encounters with the ancient narrative, treating them not as isolated anomalies, but as recurring features of a world out of balance. The model turns next to the so-called remnant, the small group the Book of Enoch describes as surviving the final judgment. By cross-referencing global demographic and values surveys, the AI calculates that less than 5% of the world's population fits the profile: truth seekers, morally convicted, and resistant to materialism. These individuals, the text claims, will carry forward wisdom for future generations. The implication is stark: most will not. The system's final output is not a verdict, but a warning. Technology, it notes, now mirrors the forbidden knowledge that unleashed chaos in Enoch's story. Every new advance, AI and genetic engineering and weaponry, follows the same pattern. Knowledge outpaces wisdom, and the pattern repeats. The numbers do not promise doom, but they close the window for denial. The choice, the AI insists, is not fixed, but the margin for error is shrinking fast. Today, AI stands as both interpreter and embodiment of Enoch's forbidden knowledge. As technology accelerates and ancient patterns resurface, the line between prophecy and reality blurs. The data warns, our choices now shape the outcome, destruction or renewal. The window for change is closing. What we do next determines which future unfolds. Share your thoughts below.